Yes, you're still watching Unleashing Your Potential with myself, Coach Toriso. And today we are talking to you teenagers, we are talking to you parents, because we're talking about sex and dating as a teenager, right? Let's talk about this topic, sex and dating as a teenager. You are laughing.
I'm laughing because we are black. Number
Okay,
one.
I love that.
Yes, and we know as black people, there's a certain way that we have been accustomed to talk about certain things. And teaching in a school that's multiracial, I see the differences between where I taught before and where I'm teaching now.
Okay.
In terms of this topic. So it does become a taboo in certain households.
Sure.
Some parents think they've laid that foundation to talk about it, but
they haven't
the
really.
child doesn't think so. So the relationship is very two-way.
Okay.
When it comes to this, so I know it's a taboo topic. That's why I'm excited to talk about it. I want to talk about it. I always want to talk about it. So I'm excited. I'm very excited to be talking about this particular topic because whether we like it or not, our kids are doing it.
I mean, we were teenagers at some point ourselves. So, and I like it when you say it's a taboo. How do you go about it talking about these things? Like with your coaches, your teenagers.
Yes.
How does this thing happen at home? Or what are they saying and what is the right way of doing it, perhaps?
Firstly, okay, I just want to put this out. Whenever I have sessions with teenagers, I always tell them there's a disclosure. Whatever we discuss is not something I'm going to go back and talk to your parents about. So it's not within balumkos. Now I'm going to go back and report.
Call the mom.
No. The only time I go back to the parent if something is life-threatening.
Okay.
And kids talk. You know, kids are very open, but there's always that thing. I think even maybe you as an adult as well, with your parents, it's not easy to talk about.
Certain things.
Yes, so obviously they're more open to talk to someone else about it. But all I want to say, before we go deep into it, is that as parents, we need to not be in denial.
Okay.
And mostly when a kid is doing it, the parent knows, but they are in denial. They just choose to turn a blind eye and say,
like
not my child. Yes, until something big starts happening, and then they start running for help.
Hey. Okay. So what goes through a mind of a teenager regarding dating and sex?
I think firstly we need to appreciate that teenagers have a different mind from the adult.
Okay.
Their brain is not fully developed until they reach the age of at least 21.
Okay.
So meaning in their teenage age, their brain is not fully developed, especially the frontal lobe, which is responsible for impulse management, decision making.
Okay.
So they are operating under the principle called immediate gratification. All that they want is to get gratification.
Now.
And that's where the parents should come in, because parents should regulate that immediate gratification to say it is okay to feel what you are feeling, but feeling it is not an instruction that you must act on it.
Okay.
So now the problem is parents are scared to engage teenagers on that level. When they talk to teenagers, they don't talk with them, they talk to them. It's like, do this, don't do this.
Okay.
And teenagers, in terms of their brain, they learn faster than adults, meaning they have more information, and that information, some of it might be incorrect. But because the parent is not giving themselves permission to sit down with their teen and talk with them to find out how much my teen is knowing about sex and dating, they wait until it is too late. I think in 2020 and 2021, the youngest child to be pregnant in Gauteng was 9 years old.
Oh my God.
That means this topic of sex need to start at the tender age.
Wow.
Parents need to start having a discussion with their children, because in their mind, they don't think about risky behavior because their frontal lobe is not yet developed. So they don't know whether the consequences will be severe or not. They act based on what they feel here and now. So they need guidance until at least their frontal lobe is fully matured, so that they can start to make rightful and logical decisions. So the problem with parents, and it is not a problem in the sense that they're doing something wrong. Parents give children presence rather than being present with them. They are not there because of many reasons. They are working and everything. So they don't have sufficient time to sit with them. They give them money and all this materialistic thing that learners or children, teenagers will go to social media and internet and learn. That is where we will have a lot of porn addiction, and that's where sex will come.
Sure. This is, it's one of those topics, right?
It's hectic.
I'm a mom of teenagers myself. I've got twins, which are 13 years.
Yeah.
But I want to ask to say that, how does the conversation start?
Okay.
From parent to, before we even talk about from their side, from a parent's side.
From a parent.
How does the conversation should start?
So what parents need to realize is that kids know what they think they don't know. Like a parent will think, you'll think your child doesn't know. And your child knows way more than what you think they know. So that's the first thing you need to do as a parent, to realize that. Your child knows, whether you like it or not. And if you as a parent don't sum up the courage to talk to your child, there's another child who's going to tell them about it. There's another child who's going to advise them about it. And remember, kids know what kids know.
And they talk. Hey?
Yeah,
they talk.
And their advice to each other is on their level. So firstly, you need to sum up the courage to do it. And started young. Don't start at 13, 14, 15. He says to us, Uguti, the youngest child to fall pregnant in South Africa has been 9. You know? And when the topic about sex education comes up, that should we have sex education in schools, a lot of parents are like, no.
Yes.
Okay.
How can we do that? You know?
So
our kids are too young for that. And they don't realize that from development from a very young age. The moment that you start having sex and your child is in bed and you think your child doesn't know anything. So sum up that courage, because if you have been having sex with your child in bed, they know way more than what you think they know. If a child can imitate you and say mama, baba, do you think they can't see what you're doing?
Sure.
Just to put it out there. So sum up that courage, number one, to say, Guti, I'm going to do this whether I like it or not, and start at a young age appropriate. A 5-year-old, you know.
Is that too early?
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
So they can...
They know, Guti, those things are happening. That's why you'll find a crash. You know, sometimes a crash, there will be that one child who's doing things to other kids, just to show you that kids know these things. So always be open in terms of asking your child questions about that in particular. You know, kids ask you, and we're still playing the aeroplane stories. Yes, you know, we're still playing that. Aeroplane. That's your chance
to actually start
talking about it, to start being honest. White people call it the birds and the bees. You know, and that's what happens. So firstly, sum up the courage. You cannot do something if you do not sum up the courage to do it, and stop being in denial. And then start asking age-appropriate questions at that particular time. Your child will know that then you are someone who's easy to come to. You are not that brick wall. You are not that. When you're watching TV with your child and an uncomfortable scene comes up, ask them, how do you feel about what do you think is happening?
Wow.
How do you feel about that?
Okay, we'll continue after the break. They say ask questions.
Yes.
You have to have the courage as a parent to ask questions to your teenagers, because they know more than you think they know. And we'll see you after the break.